Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for episode 11 of Coffee Corner Terrarium's podcast. With us today, we have Lynn Lee from Zone 9, and we will be walking through their upcoming zombie survival game where they intend to implement Luna Classic into their currency features. Going through the project over the last few days with the paperwork they were kind enough to send me so I can look through it, all the different documentation. They have definitely done their research. They have taken a really heavy focus on sustainability when it comes to the different in-game economic structures, which is definitely something I can really appreciate, considering one of the major things we see with different games, not only play to earn that includes crypto, but also just gaming in general that has their own in-game economies. You can definitely see those start to fail or have different aspects that is really off-putting to the player base. So it's something I really appreciate, especially when it is a blockchain game that has different crypto features to it. With that slight introduction, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, Zone 9?
Yeah. Hey everyone. Uh, it's a pleasure to speak with you guys in the Luna Classic communities. I'm currently the ship business officer of Zona Survival. I do most of the stuff relating to financial and game design. So if you have any question or you want to try the game itself, you can just ask me and I'll ping you with the link.
Oh, I wasn't aware that the option was available for a beta test right now.
Yeah, it's not actually a beta test. It's early alpha. It's very basic version of the game. Yeah, but if you guys want to, I won't hesitate to do that.
Awesome. And that's what I love about these spaces. We keep bringing projects on, as we go through their projects to, you know, I'm not a fool. I know my audience is small, but I love how the different projects keep dropping the alpha, and the listeners keep getting that extra little bit of information or inclusivity with whatever it is they're working on. So that's awesome. So if you're into gaming and you'd like to give their alpha a try to test out an early version of their product, a bare bones, I'm sure, option, then definitely reach out to Lynn Lee here. And am I saying that correct, Lee or Lynn Lee?
Yeah, you can just call me Lil.
Okay, Lynn. All right. Um, so where is it that you're at in the development process? Obviously, you just said the an early version of the game is available for testing, but where are you at in the more of a general overview of where the game's at?
Okay, for this, I would first need to list out what is the step that you will go through in making a game. So let's say there will be 10 steps. The first step is conception. So yeah, you have the concept for the game. You do some kind of research on the market, on the genre, and any available cases on the market that you can take a lesson from. Then when that is decided, go on to the second stage. The game is making the game design document. So the game design document is very similar to like the script for a movie. So in the document, it will list our all kind of character, storyline, mechanism, environment, enemies. Yeah, basically anything in the game will be listed. And then go on to the third stage. So now you go on to realize each section of the game design document. In the character design, you will have to make the actual concept for the character, for the player, for the classes in the game, for the kind of enemy that you will have, for the kind of weather effect environment that you will be facing. Also the economy design, and onto the fourth stage, you will bring the design onto a 2D sketch and then a 3D access in the game. So in the fourth stage, you're building the game assets, and in the fifth stage, you make the code, the script, so that the game asset can now be animated and interact with other asset and environment in the game. So in this stage, we can call it the game prototype, or we can say it in the earliest form of MVP. So we are at this stage. So we are at the fifth stage. The other stage. So after the fifth stage, the sixth stage is to optimize, bug fix, failing in all the other assets. And in the seventh stage, you will scale it up. You will build an online server, and you do a global beta. Onto the next stage, you scale it bigger. You complete all the detail, better optimization. You get the more complex mechanism into the game. This will be the open beta. For the ninth stage, we'll be publishing and marketing, and onward to the 10th day you keep on updating and maintaining of the server. Yeah, so basically we are at the fifth stage.
Okay. So you're progressing through it all. It sounds like you have your script written out for the game, and you're just working through the different mechanics. When what's your timeline for launch? Like the if not the final form, at least a wider market beta test.
Yeah, so the closest plan we have right now, in the current financial situation that we are having, so we looking to have like a 10x version. So it would be either of the two options. Uh, One option is to make the game very similar to what you see in Left 4 Dead. So a, a couple of people, like under 10 people, will become a party, and you go through the map to achieve some kind of goal. Or the other things is make it like PUBG. So there will be like 10, 20 people fighting each other in a zombie infested city or something, and you try to survive the longest. Yeah, and that would be the honestly, that would be the furthest we can go in the case we have no funding. And if we reach that stage and still the market is not warming up, yeah, then we will only have to go back to the step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we go into more detail and we try to polish on what we already have and wait for the funding.
Okay. Okay. So you said you'd like the final version to be closer to along the lines of what we see with Left 4 Dead, which I actually really enjoyed. I really liked Left 4 Dead, especially Left 4 Dead 2. That would have been a great series for them to keep going with. So that'll be like an interesting gameplay, especially when you add in, of course, whatever your team brings to the different mechanisms in game, as well as like with the different
Yeah.
blockchain elements, in the economy with the different items and
Mm-hmm.
building out the different classes. Um, you've definitely gotten my interest. So is there anything you would like to just kind of go over about the game? Explain the game, its mechanics, or anything before we just keep going, driving on with the different questions?
Yeah. So let's see. There are like three main things that I will always talk about to all of the investor and all of the partner. So the first thing is we have a complete storyline that will be the baseline for the game world building. So we was very lucky to have this author, like professional novel author in Vietnam, and we kind of like going to his house every day and like talk about the game all the time until he should give up and he will have to write a novel for us. So now we have 80 chapter of the novels with something around 1,000 pages in Vietnamese. In the near timeline, I thinking of release the English version for that. So yeah, you can have something to read on the lore of the game world. So the story of the game, why the game is called Zone 9 Survival. So the setting is 50 years after the zombie apocalypse, and there was only nine settlement of humans that still have radio contact with each other. And the first and the biggest city, we call it the Great Capital Heaven, uh, suddenly lost contact with the nine zone. So when you're going through the game, you will travel through from zone 1 to zone 2, zone 3 to zone 9 and to investigate on what happened. And in the process, you will find a way to maybe reverse the ending of humanity and save everyone. Yes, so that basically the plot of the story and also the plot of the game. Another thing I would love to go through is that the game have we try to build an AI system for the game. So with this system, you can like talk to the AI, and with it will answer back. Yeah, thing up ChatGPT. But we try to take it another step further. So there will be nine main classes in the game, and each of these classes will have one NPC, like the leader of the profession. If you have played any other MMORPG, like maybe Ragnarok Online or Eve Online, RuneScape, Guild War, then you should know about that kind of NPC. So I try to set it so that the NPC can talk to you, and the NPC can talk to each other. So while they talk to each other, they can create a set of random content that will have to follow some rule to keep the integrity of the storyline. But basically, by doing that, it will create a limitless number of content. So we call it the infinite content generation system. The last thing I want to mention is how different the game economy to other GameFi. We are not positioned as a GameFi. We position as a traditional game for traditional gamer, especially hardcore gamer. But for the blockchain part, we implement for the payment, for the ATM access and NFT. And by doing so, we can actually monetize the inflation of in-game assets. So that solved the problem that of the Web2 game studio experience. Yeah, so there were basically the thing that I want people to know about the game.
That last, excuse me, that
Mm-hmm,
last little bit you touched on is something I actually really like, is how you're targeting the traditional gamer space and community instead of targeting,
mm-hmm,
crypto investors or play to earn investors. I think that actually is a really good aspect and model or mission for attracting the proper player base for a game that
mm-hmm.
wants to reach a level of adoption beyond just crypto investors. Because the
Yeah.
the, the crypto space is a small one. I think as of
Mm-hmm.
right now, less than like 5% or less of the entire world are currently involved in crypto. So positioning your game to have blockchain elements to it, not to be focused on the play to earn, but from what I understand of what you're building, having the economy, be monetized, with different cryptocurrencies, but so players are able to own their assets and utilize their assets in a real world environment. Excuse me, but
Mm-hmm.
really shifting the focus to the game itself and not how it can one day make you rich is
Yeah.
definitely more sustainable, and I absolutely love that. um, Reading your paper, you Zone 9, you guys put out a research paper on the inflationary mechanisms of in-game economies, what causes them, how to prevent them, and different steps builders can take uh, to, you know, stay away from the different elements you've seen from other games, such as, I know in your paper you mentioned RuneScape as well as Guild Wars and a lot of
Yeah.
other really large games that suffered from inflationary mechanisms in their games, from item drops and gold acquisition, or whatever in-game currency they had. Um, what
Mm-hmm.
made you take such like a strong a strong stance, or what really made you guys decide that your path was going to be so hard set on the sustainability of your in-game economy?
Yeah. So the first thing that we think about is how what is the longevity of an MMORPG? A good one. So yeah, all of the example that I use as case study in the research, uh, all of them last at least 10 years, and their player base reached something at least 10 millions at the all-time high. Yeah, so that was the criteria I used to select the case study. And with my size set on them, I see the trend that MMORPG is like the longest living kind of game out there. And even with the player base so invested emotionally and physically, financially into the game, they eventually won out when the inflation taking over. And yeah, mostly most reason the biggest reason that they lose the player base to me is either the unchecked inflation. Because yeah, let me give you this example, very clear example. So let's say you playing RuneScape, you just start this week, and you can make like say 100 gold per day. And then another guy who have played for like say 5 years, and he can make 1 million gold per day. So the thing happen now is there will be uh, two scenario. So let's say there is it really rare drop that both you and the other guy want to have. You see, so you cannot actually compete with that guy in paying power based on the game currency, because he can make what you make in 1 day in like 5 minutes or something. So there will be two scenarios. You either quit on the intention of acquiring that item, or you have to pay physical fiat money to the owner of that item and to acquire the item. So in the first scenario, people tend to just quit the game because the disparity is too large, and the unchecked inflation keep the new player from entering the game. So all of the that left in the game were the like really old player who play for 5, 10 years, and they invest too much to actually quit the game, but new player won't come because there is too big a barrier for that. On the second scenario where you have to pay real money, so now this is an over the counter transaction. And in this transaction, you directly send your money to the other guy, and he send you the item. So now what happened is that the publisher, they make nothing from this transaction. And because they make nothing from this transaction, they will have to find some way to prevent this kind of transaction. Because if everyone resort to this kind of transaction, then they cannot make money, you see. And now the worst thing about that is they have to resort to making the game economy inflationary to combat with the direct OTC trading between players, and it become a conflict between the growth of the in-game economy with the benefit of the publisher and with the benefit of the player. So there is a really big misalignment of interest in this economy. So in Zone 9 Survival, in our system, we don't really sell the player anything except a monthly battle pass. That like the only thing that we actually sell you. But it will only give you some potato and some water, so you can survive like a little bit more relaxed. but most of the other items you have to be make them yourself. Like let's say you want a little jacket, then you either have to go buy the jacket from some other player, or you have to go into the wood and then you have to hunt that animal and you have to skin that animal and then you have to process the skin and you have to have the tailor skill to put the skin into a leather. Yeah, all kind of things like just like in the real world. So we encourage this kind of peer-to-peer transaction because it will have the economic growth because it's a free market and it will be decided by the participant of the market. And by allowing this model, we are looking for the game to grow. You see, in economy, there a term GDP. So it's like quantity a whole country capitals. But we also try to implement that concept into the game, and we create something called the in-game GDP for the entire economy of the game. Yeah, I hope you guys are still with me on this.
Yeah, we're here definitely. That actually just one. So it definitely sounds like your in-game economy is, as you said, a free market. And besides the monthly battle pass, you're not trying to sell your consumers or your users any sort of products or anything. It's just that you want the economy to be completely self-sustaining through
Yeah,
peer-to-peer transactions where one member finds or discovers an item or builds an item, and then they're capable of selling that item to the other player.
yeah,
It really sounds like you're trying to make this as much as real life, and well, I guess even more of a free market than what we find, yeah,
real
than
life.
real life.
Yeah,
And the main source of revenue for your team and yourself and the game to continue its development process is, you know, I guess a small transaction fee from the
yeah,
different trade,
volume.
yeah, from the different markets and whatnot. Um,
Hmm.
I I like that. I really like the way you guys are attacking this instead of, trying to only have a market where it's the game developers selling players stuff, because that's only sustainable for so long. Um, so what so from what you're saying, players will have an item and they set a price, and then another player, they get to choose if that price is, the correct value for what it is they're trying to sell, which gives that of course free market element. Um,
Yeah. Well, so there also this there will be arbitrary opportunity inside the game. But it's like real world commodity arbitrage. Let me explain this. Um, you see, in the real world, there is this thing called the competitive advantage. So let's say you you have a guild in zone 3, and in zone 3 there are a lot of iron mine, so you can get a lot of iron for cheap. So the iron price in zone 3 will be cheap. So if you want to make money, you can simply go to zone 3, acquire some iron, and transport them back to other zone where they don't have iron. So it's like the real merchant in the world. But in the game economies, I have divided into four kind of economic actor. So the first one is the gatherer. They are like the combatant, the fighter. They go outside into dangerous environment. They go looting. They go rather gather resources, and they bring back the resources into the human economy. The second kind of actor is the producer. So they produce items from the resources and material that they either grow on the farm or they get from the gatherer. And there are another is the service provider. So the service provider, yeah, basically they provide you with service like they heal you, they cook you food, or they maintain your weapon. And the last actor in the economy is the merchant, the distributor. So the merchant will buy item from from producer for ship, or raw material from the gatherer for ship, and they sell that for hire to other people who need it. But the things is every actor in this economy is co-independent. So none of them can live without the other. As well as we have nine classes in the game. Four of them are like combat classes, and five of them are either producers or service provider classes. So in a party, you will need a very balanced team, and also in a guild, you will need a very balanced set of character with different classes, or you will not be self-sustainable, and you will have to, buy from other people, buy from other guild. So a lot of people ask me, so is it possible to make money from playing Zone 9 Survival, even though it's not a game fight? Yeah, I say absolutely. It exactly like how you make money in all the MMORPG. So you want to make money, you play one of the four economic actor, or you can play all of them. So let's say you are a fighter, you want to make money, then you have to go out and loot material. You go back and sell to the producer. If you're a producer, you have to buy raw material from the gatherer, and you produce the item and you sell to other actor. Your service provider, you have to buy raw material to provide your service. Like you maintain the weapon, you have to use oil, some metal, or you cook. You have to sharpen your knife, or you have to spend some money on gas or on wood. Yeah, and even for the merchant who just buy and sell between people, they will have to rely on other classes, the other economic actor too. Let's say because the game is zombie survival, so you cannot just put your back full of material and just go from this zone to the other zone, because the merchant, they tend not to be a good fighter. So traveling along in the outside environment is very dangerous, and they can die at any moment if a zombie spot them. So they have to hire the gatherer or the fighter to protect them when they transporting the loot. So everybody will need everybody else.
Very interesting. I love the more you speak, the more interested I become in all of this. It definitely seems like you have really focused on the economic aspects of this game, as well as the gameplay itself and how it's all interwoven together. So what you said is that uh, So like not only like you're your player and you're fighting to stay alive in the game, of course, but you have these different subclasses. You know, you have your fighter, you have your merchant, um, you
Mm-hmm.
have your different producer classes. You know, the guy who maintains the weapons and gear and what have you. And these are all different player classes, correct?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
and you made it to where groups, you know, intermingle with each other, trading and selling goods as well as trying to become self-sustaining. So it definitely really builds on that more um, you know, like community aspect. Like I from what you've told me, I find like it would be really difficult to be like a solo player, you know, just like one person playing the game. Like you almost to really get ahead of the in the game, you
yeah,
have to have companions with you, you know, helping you fight off the
yeah.
zombies. And what have you. Is there going to be an act like can players attack players? Like if I come across another group and I want
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely, absolutely.
okay. So that adds another interesting, more realistic, real world aspect because
Yeah, you can like so you you have the information that a large of percent are transporting good from this city to other city. You can just go rob them right in the middle of the road and take all their loot. But they will remember who you are and try to take revenge.
that's That's awesome. I really like that aspect. I mean, like, of course, when you add in like the more monetary aspects and it's real currency, you know, the items and
Mm.
everything, you will be able to sell for the in-game currency, you know, and then, to my understanding, from what I've read, exchange that for different cryptocurrencies. You know, that definitely adds to the potential for like a predatory mechanism in the game where with
Yeah,
some games you wouldn't want, but with some you would, and a zombie survival game is definitely that type of genre of game that I would want to see that aspect. I usually play the good guy. I don't kill the other good people, and I like even when they're NPCs. You know, I don't just go around slaughtering everyone. You know, but from both aspects, from the player base of someone that tries to be the good guy and not screw other people over, but also from the aspect of the type of person that does like that gameplay more, where they do like to play the antagonist or the bad guy. um I think
yeah. Oh, so there it is a balance mechanism. Uh, so if you have not attacked anyone first, like people first, let's say you're in the innocent status, and if you in the innocent status and you die, then you only drop like part of the loot in your backpack. Uh, but oh, and if you are attacked first, you can fight back and you will not get into the murder state. But if you intentionally initiate the fight and you do murder people in the game, then you will enter the murder state, and like game NPC or other people, when they see that, they can attack you without any problem. And when they attack you, you will have the chance of dropping equipment. Normally you will not drop equipment. When you die, you only drop resources. But if you kill people first and then you got revenge on, yeah, you will have the chance to drop item and equipment. So that might be a bigger loss than what you gain.
Okay, yeah, no, that definitely sounds like a good balancing mechanism because you have to have pros and cons with being the bad guy, and having I
Yeah,
think RuneScape had that. Some other games I can't recall that were more open world had that mechanism where you know if you are the bad guy, you're marked as a bad person, and you know like how you said if you're either defending yourself or you're killing off the bad person, that's not seen as a murder or homicide, and
yeah,
you don't get that mark as well. I like that a lot. You're
yeah,
definitely going to have
yeah,
bands of people roaming the woods between cities, just looking for
yeah, yeah,
just looking for
absolutely.
other parties to attack. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Also, also, so if you got killed by zombie, we have this like salvaging mechanism where you can go back to the place you die in under an hour, and you get most of your drop back. After an hour, your drop will be deteriorating, and all the people will see, and they can pick up your drop.
Okay. So you have an hour to get back to where you died, and pick up
Yeah,
everything. But after that hour, other people can see it and they can steal your stuff, and
yeah,
it'll
yeah,
start to degrade, so it won't be as
yeah,
good. Okay.
yeah.
Um, are there going to be NPCs besides the zombies that attack you? And are all zombies NPCs? Can someone play as a zombie?
Uh, we have this. So there will be more playable classes in the future. We have this plan for a class called the Milton. So they got bitten by zombie. They have transformed into a zombie, but not fully transformed into a zombie. So they look like a zombie. They have the zombie train, but they are capable of human heart, but a little twisted.
Interesting. Okay, so that'll come later. That'll come later. I like that too.
Yeah, yeah.
Will that be a class that you can play all the time? Like, can you, or is it only after you just get bit, and is it for like a limited time?
Yeah, we thinking about that because it's really hard to try the grind balance for
Yeah, no,
that.
I can see that.
Like if you play that all the time, like then you cannot actually interact with human society, right? You cannot go into the city. Yeah, but the good point you will be not your chance to be attacked by other zombie is significantly lower.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Um, so early on, you said that this is going to be an MMORPG. It's a free roam game on a massive map. But it has like a Left 4 Dead type gameplay in a sense.
Oh,
Uh,
uh, the Left 4 Dead type of version is an option that we're looking for the testnet.
okay.
Uh, yeah, because we have to pump out the testnet somehow to progress further with the funding. So it's like just a placeholder for you player to actually experience the mechanism together, get some traction, and it's not the final form of the game.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. So it's more like a demo. Like, here's what the game is like, though when once it's actually released, it'll be an open world game. Okay,
Yeah,
that makes sense. Um, Now, are there going to be different markets like in the cities? You said that the cities are spread out. You have to work your way from zone 1 all the way to zone 9. Um,
yeah.
are there going to be like different marketplaces inside of the city? And is that how people trade, kind of like on RuneScape where you had to go to the Grand Central Market or whatever it was called?
Yeah, yeah. So we try to make it a bit easier for the gamers because yeah, you can expect them to like spend a week walking from zone to zone to buy or sell stuff. So in the So in the zone, some zone are controlled by the right capital heaven, but some are not. So in the zone that controlled by the capitals, the market will be linked together. And in the zone that is not controlled, it like a free market, and it will be a local market.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. So a little bit easier to access the market than we've seen in other games. And so what currency are you going to be using at these markets and inside of them?
Yeah, so a lot of option that we don't have. So the most simple and straightforward is we just implement the stable coin.
Okay.
The second option is we fair launch an an in-game currency, in-game token, and because it is a fair launch and no one get to buy before the orders, so we expect the price of that to never drop below the listing price.
Okay.
And also for that currency, it's not a form of investment. I repeat, not a form of investment. You should never expect it to go up in price. It's only utility to you for a medium of exchange.
Inside the game, which is
Yeah,
exactly how a lot of these games should be more geared. I agree with that. Um, Okay, so it sounded like your team hasn't quite decided on which currency, either implementing maybe a stable coin from one blockchain or another, or having your own in-game currency, correct?
yeah,
Okay. Um, and from what I've read, the base underlying idea is that like, and this isn't the point of the game. This is just one mechanic of the game because you're focused on user ownership of your in-game assets, and to be able
yeah,
to have real world ownership to where it actually has meaning, and it's not just some silly thing inside the game. You'll have the ability to, well, if you use a stable coin, it'll automatically have real world value. But if
yeah,
you decide to go the in-game currency route, you'll be able to exchange that for different cryptocurrencies, one of which you plan on
yeah,
implementing is
yeah.
Luna Classic.
Well, we can always back end the exchange of Luna Classic to stablecoin.
Yay.
It yeah, not much different. It's only a one technical step difference.
Yes, that's what, yes. So you'll be able to, um, the battle pass. Are you going to be able to, if you go the in-game currency route, are you going to be able to swap a crypto for the in-game currency, or can you only earn in-game currency from gameplay?
So there will be a liquidity pool made by player themselves. You can go there and swap for the in-game currency, and you can make in-game currency from playing the game. Yeah, but another time that I have to like test it, we are not selling you that. Yeah, you make it, you sell to other people.
Okay. Which is,
Yeah, that's why we actually not raising fund with token.
mhm.
We raising fund with equity because if we implement a token system, it will totally mess up the economic design.
Yeah. No, I agree, due to like the volatility and everything else. And you said you won't be selling the game's main currency to players, which is good. Not not
Yeah,
not only from like a market perspective, but also like a gameplay perspective. That's good because
hmm
you won't have a pay to win aspect to it. Like if you can only get ahead in the game by actually playing the game, then the players that put time in and they work to progress inside the game won't be, either matched or beat out by people that just simply dump cash so they can buy better items. Um,
Oh yeah. Oh, also another thing, because this is a hardcore game. It's like PUBG. In the way that you fight with other people. I'm talking about PvP. So there will be a lot of counter between the classes. So for the very straightforward example, there will be we have this classic called the Achilles. So he really nimble, really high agility. He's mainly use close combat or melee weapon. So if you are in hit attack range, you are as good as that. But because he have to run toward you, so you will have time to react and you can shock him. So he's like the assassin class in this game. Uh, Also, we have this hunter class. So yeah, hunter, you can snipe people from afar. We have this police class where they are tanker and they can wear the police shield. And we have a shoulder class, so you can use machine gun to spray bullet. So each of the class they counter each other, and each of the character status also counter each other. Like the strength status, it provide you with attack with melee attack power, and you can carry more weight in your backpack without being slowed down. And then we have endurance status. With higher endurance, give you more XP, and you are more resilient to damage, and you have some resistance to negative effect. Yeah, so all kind of balance happen between the classic dynamic and the starter dynamics and the weapon dynamic. Yeah.
Okay. And for those of you in our audience that aren't really gamers, they don't pay attention to games. They're just joining us for a listen. You hear Lynn mention a lot of the time balance. Balance is like and is how do the different in-game mechanics play with each other. Like I guess the best way to define balance is like one gun compared to another for two different classes. Is one gun, much more powerful than the other to where it just instantly kills everyone, and then the gun the other guy gets is just absolutely useless, or does one character have too much health and the other one doesn't to where it's just always winning and what have you. So when it comes to like playability of a game and its sustainability of its player base, balance is probably the most important aspect. Even beyond the in-game economy, because if you have one class that is just so much more powerful than the other, then no one wants to play the game. And you see a lot of games die when they tweak the mechanics. Like you hear that they nerf a gun or something. It can really hurt the player base because they just don't find it enjoyable anymore. So this team focusing on balance not only when it comes to the different in-game aspects but also the economic aspects, is something I really like to see and is quite promising for a player-based sustainability standpoint. Um, so this is an open world game. It's MMO, so you'll be playing with a bunch of different other people all across the world. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I know in our private conversations, uh, as opposed to like other games that have a bunch of different worlds, and I'll mention RuneScape again, just because they've been around for so long. I know the game, and it encompasses a lot of the same things that you're speaking on. Like
Yeah.
RuneScape had, Jesus, I don't know, 1,000 different servers, different worlds where depending on which server you jumped into, decided who you're playing with, like who else was in that server. Um, I know in our conversations before the show, you said you're really trying to bring the player base into as small of servers as possible. So like, how big is your server going to be, like, and how many people are going to be capable of being in a single server, at least in theory at this point?
Yeah, I would say a server with good optimization, a server can host up to like 50,000 people, but they cannot like stand at the same location. They can be spread out in the whole map, and it can host around 50,000 people. If they all stand into one city, then the server will absolutely burn.
It's just like everyone will be chilling in the market doing their thing, and then one more dude walks into the local area and it just crashes. I can see that. I mean, again, for our listeners that don't really game, I mean, most games are closer to like 50 or 100, or like not really MMORPG, but like Call of Duty. I mean, you're talking about 100 people in a server. And then what do you know what RuneScape server size was? I think it was closer to 500 to 1,000. Or
Yeah, yeah, around that.
so having like 50,000 people capable of being in a single server before attempting to populate a secondary or a third server, that's insane. To have that many people on a single map capable of interacting with each other at any given time. It's definitely something
Yeah,
you have not. At least I don't know of a game that's capable of hosting 50,000 players simultaneously in a single server. I
oh well, uh, it actually worked like this. So I say the whole world in one server, and this world is really really big. Uh, I can sneak peek you that the world map is actually based on the map of the United States. So yeah, the whole game world map will be the area of surface of the United States, and it's spread out like a lot. So sometimes in some section of the world map there will be not a single player, and sometimes a lot of people will go into the same map. So we will have to like distributing the computational power into each section of the map, uh, so that it matched with the number of people inside that location.
Okay.
And also we can do some but let define server and the world instant, so we can host one world instant on multiple server. So the thing is, I looking for one world instant to host 50,000 people, but one world instant can be run on 5 server or 10 server simultaneously.
Okay, so that's kind of like Guild Wars, to where to increase the ability of like hosting a single world, with so many players, you're going to break up like the
Yeah, yeah,
you're going to break up
actually,
the map, so you'll have to like load into the next location, like you have Southeast America, and then if you're going to Northeast, you'll have to load into that, to break up the one world instance into multiple servers. Okay, I like that. That's
yeah, yeah. Oh, on a side note, our game advisor actually were in the list of the BD team for Guild War 2.
Oh,
Yeah, met Tyler Kim. He's were like an American, Korean
Mm-hmm.
American, like yeah,
Okay. Um, that's that's actually pretty awesome. Guild Wars 2 is what, I don't know, like 8 years old. It's still one of the biggest MMORPGs out right now. Has a huge player base.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
okay. Um, so so you said your map is going to be it's based on the United States and a server of 50,000
Mm-hmm,
people. I mean, you could literally
mm-hmm.
go between cities. You could go days without seeing someone with how big that map is. Just off
Yeah.
wandering in the woods. Um, so because it is an RPG, that definitely gives. I know you guys said you had a story. I'm assuming. Excuse me. I'm assuming
Mm-hmm.
that story comes with like a quest line. So there will be like a main quest line in the game for each player to walk through at their own pace while they're running around surviving.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there going to be like side quests that you can find while wandering, the woods in Nevada?
You see, with the infinite content generation system that I want to set up, even us will not know what kind of side quest you will get, but there will be a lot.
Okay. Okay. So you're touching back on that like AI random generation thing. So that'll be with quest lines too, like an NPC will appear for someone somewhere with a quest line that won't appear for someone else, and it's just randomly generated. Um,
Actually, it will be the same NPC, but it will give you different quests based on your classes, your game behavior,
okay,
what you tell them. Yeah.
okay, okay,
Or yeah, like so they actually recognize who you are if you interact with them before, and if you like disrespectful or you hurt them or you hurt their underling or someone talk bad about you about some things, they might decide not to give you any quest or they might decide not to interact with you at all.
interesting, very interesting. Okay, so it'll be the different quest lines the NPCs offer you will be based on like your character, your class, how you've conducted yourself
Yeah,
in game, and also what you say
yeah,
to them. Um, that
yeah,
just opens it up for like an insane amount of potential different quests and replayability of the game because like you play the game as a tank or something, you get to play it this way. But then if you're a merchant, you get these different quest lines. That definitely
yeah.
adds to the replayability to really get the full experience of the game through multiple playthroughs. Um, will there be a so because it's an MMORPG, will there be like a way for players to speak with each other? Will there be like a text chat that you can open up, or is there going to be like
Yeah, yeah,
mic
of
use?
course. You can, yeah, you can use mice, talk directly, can chat. I think we will implement like some of the most common form of communication. So yeah, direct chat and chat on the screen.
Okay.
Mostly people only use those two.
Yeah, most of the time, you see text chat, which is usually clunky and difficult to use, and then at least with MMORPGs, you rarely see the voice option, which is cool to have because it just really adds to the game. I'm sure you'll have people begging the person trying to kill them not to kill them.
Yeah. So you can set your voice option. So maybe like only people around you will hear it, or maybe only people in your party will hear it. something like that.
Okay. Okay. Um, let's see here. We covered a lot of the different aspects of the game. Um, is there anything else that you want to touch on before we open it up to the audience? I know Ivan had a question, but it seems like he dropped out. Or if Vegas has any questions or comments, you got anything else you want to touch on? Anything we haven't covered that you really want people to know?
Everyone. Hi, Glenn.
What's
Hi,
up,
Lane.
Vegas?
Yeah,
Uh,
hey, hey.
sorry not to be so active, but yeah, this weekend is very hard for me. um, so I arrived a tiny bit late. From what I can hear, you are is going to be out of this world, the game. I'm very happy that you choose Luna Classic to be working on. It's impressive to have a company like you guys betting on Luna Classic. Um, I don't know if I should be saying this or not. I already tried a little of the game and it's absolutely impressive. So just for the game exists and it's absolutely amazing. I just want to try to understand the correlation that with Luna Classic, so the community can understand how do you want to tackle the for example, the supply of Lunk, is this going to have a direct connection on the Lunk in relationship to like used by transaction? Is it going to be built on layer two of Lunk, or just going to be one more coin inside of the game?
Yeah, so we especially for loans communities, we actually have plan for to release two more casual game on Lucy. So we have this game like a Monopoly game. It's a board game. Yeah, and you can use Luna Classic on that, and we can set it so that like 90% of all the transaction will be used to burn Lucy. Also, we have this another casual game. It's like the bomb. Like you go around and you put the bomb on the ground, and the monster go close to it, and it go burn. Like the pixel game that we had back in the days. Yeah, so we plan to launch those two games on Luna Classic too. Maybe exclusively on Luna Classic actually, because we have the source of those games, but we don't have plan to launch it anywhere else because it not really makes sense with the level of game quality that we looking to build with Zone 9. So we say it will be a community game, and yeah, we not going to looking to take anything from it. Like we will not have any IDO or INO or raising anything. We just release the game. You go into the game and use Luna Classic as token to play with each other. That's it.
Interesting. I wasn't aware. You should have led with that. um, Interesting. I didn't know that you were looking to bring other like I guess what would you call them? Indie games to Luna Classic as well.
Yeah, like
Okay. Awesome. So you're bringing Zone 9 Survival, which is obviously your flagship. This is your game. What everything is focused on, but you also plan on bringing a type of, I believe you said Monopoly board game where Luna Classic will be
yeah, yeah,
featured. And you'll be burning most of what is, well, you said 90% of what coins are used in that side of the
yeah.
game. And then you also,
Everything we make from the transaction, the royalty for the game. They will be burned.
Okay, so 100% of what the team makes, this is really just a gift to the community then. Um,
Yeah. Oh, but to implement that, you see, we currently only have blockchain developer using Solidity. So for Ethereum, yeah. So if we already have the source code for the indie game, but we would need some community developer to actually help us to write a contract to onboard the game on the chain.
Okay. Okay, and that's really interesting that you touched on that and how it's coded in Solidity, and that's actually something that's stopping you from immediately coming to Terra Classic because it uses Rust.
Yeah, yeah,
That's something I've been speaking on a lot lately. Either with people I've worked with in the community, I've touched on it publicly quite a few times. Is the need for Terra Classic, the L1 blockchain, to implement an Ethereum virtual machine so Solidity developers can build on Terra Classic with Lunk easily. That's something I feel very strong about. It's one of the developments for Luna Classic. I think is one of the most important. Other Cosmos ecosystem chains are currently developing EVM compatibility. Um,
yeah.
so that's it's honestly hilarious that you just said that. And for our listeners, either now or later, if you're not aware, Solidity is the coding language utilized for the Ethereum network. It is without question the most widely adopted blockchain development language. It has the most of the largest amount of developers, looking to code and build games or applications. I mean, most of them know Solidity. I mean, it's the Ethereum network's language. So allowing through an EVM, to allow Solidity developers the opportunity to come and develop on Terra Classic, I mean, it's a no-brainer. We want to open up the ecosystem to as many people as possible. And you just had firsthand evidence right here with Zone 9 and their indie games, that they're like, hey, we want to come to Terra Classic, but we're facing a wall, a minor setback because our games are coded in Solidity, but you only use Rust. Um, so for all of our listeners, please help me be vocal about getting the ball running on EVM and Solidity compatibility. It's definitely something we should all want. It's definitely something other Cosmos chains are looking into and are currently developing. So we know it can be done, and it's just something that we need to push towards the different L1 developers, either the L1 task force or the different developers looking to get involved. Like Bilbo and his team, something that they can tackle to provide more utility and usability to the L1 blockchain. Um, that's awesome. I really wish you would have led with that. You piqued my interest even further now, knowing that you're bringing um, more games than just Zone 9 to Terra Classic. Okay. Um, and honestly, once Terrarium, my organization, I guess you can call.
Yeah.
We're currently in the process of building out our website and the phase one application that we're working on. But once that's done and launched, which should be shortly, I was really going to start tackling and getting a community initiative going on what we would like to see from the L1 team and other L1 developers. And if and one of those things I was going to put in that paper was EVM compatibility, so we can use Solidity. So
Hmm.
if you would like to be like an example, and even sign the document saying like, "Hey, we want Solidity," I'm sure that would really help progress that narrative of wanting Solidity on chain. So so that would be awesome. Be like, hey, there's this gaming studio. They want to come here. let's make it easier for them instead of having them to either build relationships with Rust developers or learn Rust themselves. I mean, you really just want to have doorways open to anyone and everyone looking to build on chain, especially from a game studio as big as yours. You know, that would definitely be one of the larger new coming organizations or developers looking to build on Luna Classic. So we should really, in my opinion at least, welcome you and roll out the red carpet and thank you for considering our community owned blockchain as a place where you're looking to develop. Um,
Well, on another side note, I actually was a Lunar enthusiast, like long ago. You know, do one actually follow my Twitter back in the days, like April last year.
okay, really? Okay, so you're an old holder. Okay,
Yeah, I was here before the crash, man.
okay, cool.
Yeah, I lost. I personally lose 60K in the crash, but I'm still here.
Ooh, uh, hate to hear that. That part's not cool. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it alright. Oh, you remember the Star Terra team? You know the game launchpad back in the
Uh-huh.
days. Remember them? So now they make it big and they become Game Swift. And Game Swift is a Web3 game publisher. Uh, and they actually signed a publishing deal with Zone 9 already.
Okay.
A lot of old people I have met in the ecosystem actually go there and developing further.
Okay. Our Game Squid is a different. It's you said it was a gaming launch pad, correct?
Yeah, gaming publisher.
Publisher. Okay.
Yeah,
Um, are they working on Luna right now, or are they also looking to come back to Terra Classic?
yeah. I'm not sure about that actually because they got a grant from the Polygon
Okay.
Foundation.
Okay. And for everyone listening, Polygon, guess what they're coded in? Solidity. So Polygon's a layer 2 for Ethereum. It's a scaling solution for their blockchain to increase transaction speed and buildability. So, just another reason why we should implement EVM compatibility with Solidity. So, we can just have more of these types of builders coming to the chain. Okay, I guess I'll stop rambling. You really got me going about the EVM thing. Um, I feel very strongly about it. I guess if our audience thinned out a little bit there, I guess if anyone in the audience has any questions, I see some of you have been with us for a while. Um, or if Lynn, again, if you have anything else you want to comment or touch on, or Vegas, if any of our listeners have any questions, then now is the perfect time to ask, and we'll get those answered for you to the best of our abilities.
Yeah. So one thing I want to ask is, let's say all the proposal to push for the AVM compatible capability. How long would you think that will become a reality?
Oof, that's really difficult to say. My idea was to just start an official discussion inside the community, really mapping out the different things we would like to see from the L1 developers, such as the EVM, sharding for the node database and the blockchain, and other aspects. So I wasn't looking to, I mean, eventually, potentially, yeah, but it's not really my decision to decide what goes on the
Mm-hmm.
roadmap
Yeah.
for Luna Classic. Depending on where it gets going, I don't know. Vegas, what do you think? What do you think would be like a good timeline for start of discussion to let's vote on it?
No, they have all the quarter already roadmap.
Yeah,
Yeah, we will all depend on the demand as well. For example, for having a big studio like this that could inspire bringing more studios to the chain, yeah, it might speed up the process of doing something like that. That being said, of course, will be done a decision of the whole community. That after seeing that is a demand for this to happen, they will go and they will vote this in or not. But I'm pretty sure that they will vote this in. I will not see this happening in the next 2 months, but things could
I
change.
don't I
That's
don't
that.
either. So from a discussion and voting standpoint, Vegas, I think you're on the team of Team Solidity. Let's get it done. I want to start that discussion as soon as possible. So I'm going to try and get that idea out there to the extent that it's capable of being voted on by the beginning of next quarter. And then, depending on where we decide to go with the developers we utilize, that can be something that's voted on. We want Solidity at at least some time within the beginning of Q3, so we can get that hammered out. And then the developing to have it actually done. I'm not sure how long that could take, how much we could not steal, but borrow from other Cosmos chains. It really depends. But potentially, maybe Q4, Q1, Q2 of next year. When it comes to development, there's really no telling, and documentation inside the Cosmos is definitely subpar. So I'll definitely start that discussion. And I mean, you and I have been in contact over the last couple weeks, so I'll definitely keep you posted. And honestly, get involved in the conversation as an individual as well, and as a representative for Zone 9 Studios. Like I'll shoot you a link to what has become the more utilized discussion forums for official discussions. I mean, make an
Hmm.
account, get in there as Zone 9 and be like, hey, guys, we want Solidity. We think it would be great for the chain. I mean, it's been great for every other blockchain out there that's implemented it. I mean, not only is it the language for Ethereum, it's also the language for Polygon, Binance Smart Chain. There's multiple blockchains out there with developers that use Solidity. So yeah. Uh, so no hard answer for you on that question. Maybe a little bit of a ramble,
Yeah.
but
Okay, so let's say we have something around 8 to 10 smart contract in the indie game. All of the gaming coding is already done, so we only have to implement the smart contract to get the game running in the system. Yeah, so if you can like put up a team to work with us on that, we would gladly like contribute all of the game sources and stuff to the communities.
well, everyone listening, you just heard that. You have a game studio with 10 contracts ready to go that would implement them on Luna Classic if we could just get EVM compatibility. You heard it here first. All right. I guess unless you have any closing statements, Lynn or Vegas, or any questions from the audience, you guys, you're always so quiet. I really wish you guys popped up here more. Feel free to ask them, and if Vegas or Lynn, you guys don't have any closing thoughts, then I think that's a really good note to end it on. Nothing? No questions from the
Yeah,
audience?
nothing.
No, you're fine, Lynn.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for the studio to be betting on us, and I'm just sad that Vin is not here, not representing the L1 team, but as an individual, because I'm pretty sure that we'll be super excited by this whole conversation. Um, and maybe this will be even possible even sooner to adopt the code on the classic. But yeah, Vin will give us a much better indication of that as well. So It's just sad that it's not here.
No,
It's waiting
I
to
know.
be.
I mean, it would be great to have Frag or Vin, or any of the L1 developers listening to this right now, so they could give us their opinion. But Vegas and we definitely both have open line, direct message lines of communication with different members of the L1 team. So I'm sure over the weekend, going on to next week, we'll be dropping them a line and picking their brain about it. Um, so yeah, I also really want to thank you for coming on this space and talking about your project, what you're talking about bringing to TerraClassic, which ended up being a lot more than I initially thought. Um, and I mean, that's just absolutely amazing. I can't, tell you how much I appreciate you not only as a game studio for considering Terra Classic and Lunk, but as an individual for taking the time to jump into this space with me. And I really hope we can get you guys some visibility, so we can get you some support from the Luna Classic community.
Yeah. Well, I was here like with you guys from long ago, so yeah, I understand the same of attachment to the communities. Yeah, I still remember all the Twitter space with C5 and the other guy, the old guru in the communities.
Of course, and it's good to see the old holder base from pre DPEG event, still wanting to get involved and be here. Um, that's good to see. So I guess with that, once again, I really appreciate you coming and speaking with us, Vegas. I can't thank you enough for hopping on the speaker panel, and speaking with us. I always love having you, man. Uh, and I guess we will be sure to get back to you on the Solidity implementation and where that's going. Um, but with that, again, thank you, and I guess we're going to go ahead and close it out.
Yeah, see you guys.
All right, Lynn. I hope you have a pleasant rest of your evening. You as well, Vegas. Until next time, you guys, this is Coffee Corner, Terrarium's podcast. Thank you all for joining us. You guys have a good rest of your day.